The first 3 years of your child's life will certainly fly past really quickly, and before you know it, your little one is not so little anymore. The school years will be on your doorstep before you know it, and it's really important to ensure that your child is well on track in terms of speech development. So tell me, Teagan, where should a 3-year-old be in terms of speech development?
So 3-year-olds are starting to get much more adult-like. They can follow conversations, they can participate in conversations. Sometimes you wish it would stop.
Yes.
That's a good sign.
Yes.
But, they're able to follow more complex instructions, 2 or 3 things at a time, spaced out apart, starting to get a lot more independence because they can follow those instructions. They're understanding and answering some of those, what we call WH questions. Your who, where, what are they doing? And also why. Why did you push your little brother over?
Yeah.
It starts to come out now. And having that understanding of what we're asking, but also how to answer it, is starting to come through at this age. Our 3-year-olds should be good at packing up by putting what we look at it as in sorting into categories. So the toys go in this section, food here, clothes go here.
Yes.
They've got those categories.
So my husband should have seen a speech pathologist at 3 years old then.
Maybe that's the issue. And so with that comes a knowledge of same and different.
Okay.
They can understand why your clothes are different to theirs, but they might be the same because they're both shirts, but different because yours is bigger and all those sorts of things.
Yes, I remember my child saying something about, these are your panties, Mum, they're really big. It's great. Good for the confidence.
And colours.
Yeah.
Colours and counting. Some parents really sort of drill the colours and the counting and the alphabet, and it's good to know, but it's not the be-all end-all. Okay. It's more important that kids are getting these concepts and the categories and more language-based things.
So if they're getting colours wrong all of the time, is that
Usually they'll get a few. They'll get a few right. Colour blindness sometimes starts getting investigated around this age because some parents start to panic.
Yeah.
I wouldn't panic just yet, but on a side note, colour blindness is usually in boys. It's not very common in girls.
Okay.
Most things are more common in boys. They're starting to get a few colours. They're starting to tell us things like what their favourite colour is.
Yes.
They can sort things
I
by
only
colour,
want the blue
shape.
cup.
Yes.
Why have you given me a
ruin
red
a child's
cup?
day by giving them the wrong colour.
I know, I've done that. It can start the day very, very badly if you give them the wrong colour.
They can understand, the difference from when you say what shape is this compared to what colour is this.
Yeah.
So that's where we talk about the categories, and they can, they've got the concepts of shapes and colours, and they know which one to answer when you ask the question. Talking, they're usually nice long sentences, 4 or 5, many more word sentences. If we're getting 3-year-olds that are still only using 1 or 2 words at a time most of the time, then we're getting a bit concerned. That's telling us they don't have enough words to be able to put sentences together. And by 3, we can't even count their words usually. There's too many, and they're learning too fast that we actually can't keep up with counting how many they've got. They start to use things like what we call the grammar. They understand future and past tense, and they start using it. So they might overuse it too. So they might say, Daddy goed to the park, instead of changing it to a went. But that's a really good sign because it means they're starting to get the concept of putting in that past tense ed on the ends of words to talk about something that's happened in the past. So it's one of those developmental progressions, and it's nice to see. It means they're on the right track. As they get older, though, obviously they're going to learn how to change that to we went to the park rather than we goed. But it's a good sign. They're on the right track. In terms of speech sounds and how well they're understood, about 75% of the time, someone who's not familiar with the child should be able to work out what they're saying. There will be some errors. You might still get bish for fish and snake for snake, and that's okay, but you can work out what they're saying.
Yep.
And a lot of kids will have quite rapid change between 3 and 4 years. So by the time they're 4, it's, you should be able to understand just about everything, even if you don't know the child. So it's quite a lot that changes in those next 12 months.
Okay.
It's an exciting time.
It is. And, they just talk so much. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So what are some things that could be a concern then?
So at 3, if they're not able to follow instructions or answer questions, if you ask, who's this in the book, and they answer with what they're doing or where they are instead of the who question that we ask. So it's telling us they don't have those consolidated yet. If they're not talking in sentences, if they're sticking to those 1 or 2 words or 3 words without all the little words in between. So if they're saying something like, dog go woof, there's quite a few little words missing from that. We would expect the dog is saying woof, or the dog is woofing, or, some of those other little words, we want that structure in there.
More sentence.
Yeah, and we expect that at 3 because we're looking at true sentences and not just putting a bunch of words together.
Love it. So what are some things then that some parents can try at home with their 3-year-old?
This stage is really good for narrating everything you're doing, but also doing a lot of those hypothetical questions.
Yeah.
So you might be talking about how you're getting, the hot pot out of the oven, and you need to be careful it's hot while you've got the oven mitts on. But having a conversation like, what would happen if I didn't use my oven mitts? Doing that, what would happen if, or what would you do if, or you kick your toe and you compose yourself.
Yes.
And you might ask your child, oh, that really hurt. What could I do to make it feel better? Or what would you do to make it feel better?
Great.
So taking those questions beyond the here and now is really, really good for helping what's going to come.
It's involving them too, so that they have some input, and
it also helps them to think beyond themselves and beyond the here and now, which is really important.
Yeah, I love it. For parents, it's common to worry that their kids are behind in development. So if you have any concerns about your child's speech and language development, give the team at Talk Time Speech and Language Pathology a call today.